Well, what's up, guys? So, I wanted to make this video because I keep seeing this over and over. It seems like there's a common misconception with hackers. So, I just kind of want to cover a few things that people don't realize when it comes to hacking as far as the time and effort put in, okay? So, number one thing that I see a lot of is I get this question quite a bit, whether I'm streaming YouTube, on my Discord, whatever. I get this question all the time. It's how much time do I study? How much time do I put in? And the problem is that's dependent upon the person, right? So myself, I try and study at least a couple hours a day. Yes, I'm very competent and very good at hacking, but it changes. It changes consistently. The foundations don't, but the concepts and how it's done do. So I just want to show you guys it. If you want to be a good hacker and you want to be more than just like an analyst or something like that, if you're looking at red teaming, pen testing, that type of thing, you're going to look at putting hours in a day. Especially for me, I started later in my career as far as I didn't, from 18 years old, I didn't go straight to school and do everything. So I go to school currently. I will always keep going to school. It's just something I enjoy. Plus, being a veteran, I get the GI Bill, so I get it paid for, so I take advantage of it. Okay. So I go to school, so I'm doing that all the time. I teach classes in cybersecurity. I do that a couple times a week. I just want to show you guys. This is where my Try Hack Me dashboard. I just like that this shows you things that you can see metrics on this. That's the main reason I pulled this up. So I just want to show you guys. You can see just this week, it's Wednesday, I believe, when I'm uploading this. Just this week, I've answered 189 questions, okay? And it's Wednesday. So keep in mind that this isn't something that you're just going to pick up and do one day and be like, yeah, it's all right, I like it, and then be good at it, right? It's something that I've been doing it for years and years, and I still am doing 200 questions a week at least. And yeah, granted, there's some weeks I am busy or I fall off or I do something, but I still teach every week. I still work in the industry every week, and I still do these things all the time. So your life, I wouldn't say your life revolves around it, but there's the one thing I see a lot of people not understand when they get into something like this. It's like anything you do. If you want to be good at it, if you want to be the best, you have to work harder than everybody. And I see that is a common misconception because some very, very smart people get in good positions and they're like, yeah, I did this, I did that, it wasn't that hard. Well, that comes natural to those people. This does not come natural to everybody, especially myself. It did not come naturally to me. I just was super interested in it. If it comes natural to you, you can probably squeeze by, but you're not going to be the best. The best is someone that's outworking everybody, that's working harder every day, every night, and they're going in and doing what they need to do. So for me, that's always what my goal's been, right? Is to just keep grinding, keep trying to be the best. And for those of you like me, where it doesn't come natural to you, you're gonna have to work. It's no different than bodybuilding or working out or Spartan races or any of that stuff, any type of physical activity. In order to be the best, you have to put in the hours. You have to go to the gym every day. You have to work. You have to push further than what you're used to. You have to be uncomfortable. This is the same thing. You might go into some of these boxes and be uncomfortable, right? So this is just the path. I did this one just because the pre-security, because they did they gave away tickets for it. You earn prizes. I think I won a couple of things, but you can see I knocked all these boxes out. They weren't hard. I've already knew the answers pretty much, right? Because it's pre-security, but it's never a bad thing to go back and learn that stuff, because you might go in and, like you can see, this is the defense path. I've got a couple of them, but I haven't really messed with them. Not because I don't want to, just because it's just haven't had time. There's a ton of them, The complete beginner, most of these I've just done throughout without going through here, but the point is, yes, you can follow these paths, yes, you can do whatever, but typically what you're going to do is you're going to find something where it doesn't make sense to you, it's hard for you, and you're going to have to spend more effort on that, more time on that. So that's kind of the way I schedule my study time. So when I'm teaching stuff I already know very well, right? So that reinforces those fundamentals for me. So I continue to reinforce myself with the basics. And then when I'm working out problems, so I'm spending more time on a little bit more advanced stuff, obviously. And then on top of that, when I'm off work, I'm actually studying stuff that I don't know. So that will then teach me new things. And when I'm focusing on stuff I don't know, it's usually a lot harder, right? Because it's, like I said, this doesn't come natural to me. I don't just sit here and I didn't just read a book real fast and go, oh, I'm a hacker now. It took me years and years of busting my ass in trying to figure out what works for me as far as studying, what works for me as far as how I'm going to go about practicing and everything. I can tell you I'm not a conventional studier. So one thing I wanted to discuss is different study methods. So for me, I go in and I usually have multiple screens up, and I'll usually have like a YouTube video of something completely random, and then over here I'll have my study material, and I'll usually study for 15 minutes or so, and then watch a little bit of the video, and then study for 15 minutes or so, watch a little bit of the video. And the reason I do this is because if I don't break it up, I end up getting in this pattern where I'm reading it, but I'm not actually focusing on what it's saying. So I break up the monotony. That's just one of my techniques. You're not saying do that because it's not for everybody. Some people can just sit down and read an entire book, boom, knock it out. Some people, can't do that. Some people need to go to like a Starbucks where it's a area where they can focus better because there's no distractions. There's a lot of different techniques out there. But one thing I see, the dark side of hacking, is the good hackers, they're obsessed, okay? The reason I got so far so fast comparatively is because I'm obsessed. It's because I spend hours a day practicing stuff, working on stuff. I mean, I have thousands of hours into this stuff. So that's where the dark side of hacking comes in that people don't see, the part that not everybody understands. And that's what I wanted to talk about is this isn't something that's for everybody. There's nothing wrong with being a system administrator or a network administrator or engineer or system engineer or any of those things, or cyber analyst or anything. There's nothing wrong with those positions, or a SOC analyst or anything like that. But those are great jobs. But if you want to be a red teamer or a hacker or a pen tester or whatever your goal is, if you want to get that high to be that good, you're gonna have to be obsessed. You're gonna have to put the time in. I've seen so many people. In fact, I haven't seen one person yet that I've taught that has gone and taken it a step forward and said, I'm going to learn on my own and I'm going to bust my butt on top of the classes I'm taking. I'm going to go and pursue this and do things they need to do. I haven't seen anyone do that. And I know I have a work ethic that's unrealistic for a lot of people. And that's just because that's the way I am. It's just whatever. But you have to have that. You have to want it more than anything, or else it's not going to work for you. Now, like I said, if you have a natural inclination to this, you might be able to do it. You might. I'm not sure. I don't have it, so I can't tell you on that. But anyway, point is, you're going to have to, I don't want to say kill yourself, but it's going to take a long time if you don't commit everything you have to it. And if you do commit everything you have, it's still going to take you a long time. So keep that in mind when you're wanting to be a hacker. Make sure it's something you're super interested in. There's nothing wrong with going in here to hack the box or try hack me or something like that and dabbling in a few things and saying, no, I don't really care for it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of people that learn new skills all the time and say, not really for me, right? You might go play basketball for the first time as a kid and go, not really my thing, but I'll shoot around with my buddies. There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. But to be in today's society, in today's world, to be a hacker, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to. And the reason for that is because the enemy, and there is an enemy out there. People are getting hacked every day illegally. The enemy is working just as hard. Okay, they're just as smart. They're figuring things out. So in order for you to keep up with them, you have to. And no company is going to want someone, or no company is going to take you to the top if you're sitting there going, I'll do the bare minimum. Because if you do that bare minimum, the enemy's up here. So they're going to get into your system all day long. So keep that in mind when you're learning this stuff, because that's the one thing I keep seeing is a lot of people are almost looking for an easy way in because they know there's money in it. And while, yes, there's a lot of money to be made, it's also a lot of people busting their ass to get it. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, this isn't for everybody. I don't expect everyone to hop in and say, oh yeah, I want to be a hacker today, and just start grinding as hard as they can. That's unrealistic. Like I said, dabble in a few things, figure it out, and then if you really, really, really like it, if you really, really want to do it, dive in head first. Don't look back. And you're going to have to spend a few years probably not going to parties, not doing things that you want to do, and just grinding. And it sucks. But guess what? You do a few years, you get that job you want, and you can back off a little bit, right? I'm not saying back off to where you're not learning anything. I'm saying back off a little bit and then start to learn to balance it. That's all it is. It's just balance. I usually wake up 6 a.m. I'm usually feeding the dogs, all that stuff, going to work, get to work, working, busting my butt. Sometimes I work 8 hours, sometimes I work 10. It just depends on whatever. And then I come home, I study for, an hour or two, teach my class for an hour or two. And then I still got a couple hours to do stuff, So it's something you've got to balance. So that's what I want to talk about, guys. I want to talk about the dark side of hacking, and that dark side is the obsession that a lot of people can have some issues balancing. Basically, that obsession where some people dive too far into it, and they might go down rabbit holes and waste a lot of their own time and lose that interest because they burn themselves out. And some people do the opposite. They just barely dabble in it, and then they wonder why they're not getting there. So just keep that in mind. It's all a balancing game, and it's a dark obsession that you can have to genuinely be so obsessed with something that has so much knowledge, because you'll never learn it all. So keep that in mind when you guys are learning this stuff. And once again, if you guys have any questions, comments, like it, subscribe, do everything but also feel free to comment something for if you have a question or anything like that, and I can try and reach out to you, and we'll make something happen. So thanks, guys.